Guys, it's me again, Orchler. Where we last left off. Let's see, checking. Deku took on a couple of, the FIs took on a couple of thugs. They've been working at the factory for a little while. They've been judging whether to upgrade the regiment on how they work out and exercise. Then they got swept into a whole predicament with the bank robbers, and he got shot in the neck quite a few times. For the dude that said he has what is known as plot armor. It's the toughest armor there is. He could be shirtless and heading straight for a flaming fire. He'll live. And he has officially lost his voice like how Agent Main does in the little series Red vs. Blue did. And now he will have an actual excuse for bringing out for the AIs projecting themselves as they do in the thing. Delta has pretty much elected himself as the primary one that will talk with people. And they'll make up the excuse like, they change depending on which one, what mood he is in. They won't ever bring out Gamma, because if he comes, they'll just say he comes out when he's wanting to be a jokester, when truth he'll lie. Sigma, when he feels see something that reminds him of, the want to be a hero, Sigma will come out blazing high, still being on fire. People are like, whoa, why are you on fire? Ambition, as he has the echoey voice. Beto will come out when he's happy. Omega will come out when he's angry. And, like I said, Delta's his neutral area. He'll try to be neutral quite a lot. With that being said, I believe they tried to, have him do, a thing of, physical therapy or whatever, trying to see, if everything's totally okay. But he projects Delta, saying if he could, with their permission, he could just use his healing ability, his healing quirk, to, foresee if there's anything else that they forgot to do. Several of them are like, what? Several of them say, you have a healing ability. Yes. As I was unable to use it at that time because I was hit with a quirk suppressant. So, if it's okay with the police and such, I would like to use it. As it's let's make a quick call. As it's boom, 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 boom. Hey, we got a question. This kid here would like to use his healing ability to, see if he can fix any damage that we might have missed. It's okay, as it's several of them are looking around the police can, I guess he'll go from the highest rank, as he talks about how quirk laws, but they don't need to know that he healed himself with his own quirk, that sort of thing. And it's you can do it, you won't do it, as they say that. You technically won't have to do it, because, as they say this, it's not going on record, and we have a lot of other patients to do. A lot of villains have been moving in activity lately. You'd think with All Might here they would have slowed down, but that bank robbery yesterday just proved how wrong that was. It's oh, sorry. That being said, Deku, not Deku, but Delta activates the healing quirk as Deku's body turns green, as it forms with energy. As it's so can you talk now? As the body goes to open its mouth, but nothing comes out. It's as to make it seem like Deku is angry, Omega comes out. They're trying to keep up a facade, because people would probably figure you'd be angry if you couldn't speak anymore. Omega comes out sort of saying a few words, while the bodies just sort of reacts by clenching its fist and growling like the Meta, or like Agent Maine when he lost his voice. So as Omega says, is that it all? As they're like, yes. The company paid the business, the health insurance. I believe he had health insurance and such because of the company. I'll say that they paid for a little bit of it. I think would be a nice. Well, since he didn't get hurt on the job, I guess they wouldn't have to. So scratch that. I'll say he got health insurance anyway. And so with the health insurance actually taking care of a portion of it, but Delta and them decided to pay for it with the rest of their money. That being said, they return home and go to school pretty much the next day. The only difference is that they have a white cast around their... Well, actually, they don't even have a white cast. They just come into school and they have a bunch of scars along their neck lining. A bunch around their neck lining, as it's pew, 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 pew. I'll say, maybe I over-exaggerated with the whole magazine. I'll say he shot 5 bullets, maybe just 4 or 5 bullets. That may still seem like a lot, but hopefully that'll sort it out, because pistols can hold a lot. But anyways, as Deku arrives at school, and then Delta comes out explaining the situation, that they want to talk to Deku, quote unquote, that they'll just talk to the little thing they see in front of them, the astral projection, since Deku can't talk normally. So as everyone pretty much agrees to it, a few of them as they're you're one tough man, Jesus. You got shot in the neck so many times and you're still alive? Are you sure some of the girls even say, are you sure you should be in school? As Delta says that his minor healing ability saved him. As he said that they used a quirk dampener on him, and that the quirk dampener seriously dampened their abilities, but he was able to just barely hold on. As he explains it, and it's well, hopefully that won't happen again. He's hopefully. As then the teacher walks in, and then Delta's class is starting, please return to your seats, as he returns back to Deku's head. As it's oh, Mr. Midoriya, I thought you would be out for some time. As they just put the head, shake it side to side. I was well, I guess that'll be alright since you have a near perfect attendance record, so don't put that down. As then Deku and them go through classes they typically would. As when Bakugo tries to approach Deku, sorry, Omega comes out blasting out in front of Deku's face, coming right at Bakugo, saying, what do you want? In the very deep, menacing voice he typically does. It's wanted to say, sorry to hear what happened to you. It's don't talk to me. And this is come on, man. As Bakugo's fine, you shitty nerd. He's fuck you. It's fuck you, explosive blondie. Seriously, they can bring a whole new meaning to Dynamite Blonde. As he literally goes back into Deku's head, as then they walk out of there. It's what? Isn't that supposed to be? As Bakugo's standing there confused, what? As Delta's that insult makes no sense. You'll understand it in a minute. As if I remember correctly, a Dynamite Blonde, I think I've heard that term used before. It's where a woman is very attractive, she just so happens to be blonde. As Bakugo lets this roll over in his head for a little bit, he takes it as an insult, like Omega wanted, and blows up into class damn you, you shitty nerd! As Omega's ha ha ha, eat it. As then they make their ways through class to class, people still saying, oh, we're sorry how that happened. Delta pretty much always dealing within like, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine. Omega actually tries to like just tell everyone to buzz off, but Theta's like, no, we can't do that. They're being nice to us. Let's just leave it. If we're lucky, nobody will bully us like they stopped so a month ago. So now that they heard we survived bullet shots to the neck, maybe they'll leave us alone for good. It's like, fine, Theta. As Theta is sort of like the... Well, I've already explained what they are, and Theta plays somewhat of a mediator. I forget what the word is. Negotiator, technically, between like AIs doing something stupid, like Omega. Omega usually listens to Theta, unless it's something that really makes him angry. Then Omega will just like jump ahead of Theta and just completely wreck whatever they're making him angry. Deku's even on the news. It's like, this young man survived 4 bullet shots to the neck. His status is unknown, as the hospital did not want to release his status to us, just in case the villains try to return and finish the job, they said. It's like, the guy who shot Deku in his neck, like, what the hell? How'd he live? As he's like, his arm was destroyed, so now he has a robotic one. Yeah, it's a robotic one. And as, if you guys know, you know that the guy who gets a robotic arm isn't the really, like the guy who shows his arms in the thing. I was just going along saying he had like I would just say he has superhuman abilities in general. And that the guy who has like, who shows his arms is the one with like really, like with a lot, like good super strength. That's what I'll say about that. As then, that being said, again, Deku survived it, and several of them actually mocked the guy, saying he lost an arm, yet he lost an arm and the kid lost his voice. Seems like a fair trade to me. He's like, oh, shut up. If I get my hands on that kid again, you get your hand. No, hands, as he shows him the robotic arm. I'm gonna smash you with this very hand this arm he stole. I bet the kid's gonna take your voice too. It's like, oh, don't even make me laugh. Kid could barely do anything against me. He's like, we had him drugged, technically. As it's like, oh, fine. If it comes down to it, we'll be prepared. I'll be prepared. I'll carry this quirk suppressant with us the entire time. You're supposed to have it with you everywhere you go, technically, just in case some heroes try to get after you if they recognize you. He's like, I can take on any hero who throws himself at me. That being said, not Bakugo, but Deku's training regimen and everything is actually pushed a lot farther. And even the people at the factory like talk with Deku, trying to cheer him up, but Delta pretty much says that he's doing fine. In fact, he's never felt better. That he didn't really talk before anyway, so, I don't know. As like, yeah, you got a point, you were the strong silent type. So, what are you gonna do? Like, the UA entrance exam is closing in, you're gonna apply? As he's like, I intend to. I'm also taking a lot of studying into thing, and I'm also exercising a lot more heavily, as you would say. It's like, well, by the chance, you were tough enough to survive being shot, so I'll say you aren't tough enough to get into UA, most definitely. It's like, indeed. As in, it's like, as there's like a whole little sound that says, night shift is about to begin, day shifters, get out of here. As Deku leaves, and the other guys are like, wait, you ain't, you didn't pick up that extra shift tonight? He's like, no, I want to spend time with my mother. She has been worried. It's like, oh, alright, man, well, do safe. And it's like, will do. With Delta just pretty much zooming back into Deku's head, as the body was already walking away. As they explained it, that he can talk and look at them while also walking forward. It's like two sets of eyes, as he would explain it. It's like, oh, that's pretty cool. It's like, yes, now goodbye. As he goes all the way back to Deku's head and goes right into it. As it's like, well, that was neat. So, what do we do now? We're going home. Spend time with Inko. As is like, still not gonna call her mom. Well, she's technically isn't our mom. She's the body's mom. It's like, you got a point there. Maybe that's just me. As then they walk all the way back, get on the train, and a few people even see Deku after seeing the news, and like, as they whisper as he's walking past, like still walking around, he's fine, and they just notice the scars on his neck. He's walking straight forward, goes up the thing, and enters the thing. As then, surprise, surprise, Mitsuki came to visit. Yay! As I'm being sarcastic, obviously. Thankfully, she didn't bring Bakugo. And she's like, "Oh, are you alright, Izuku?" Deku's like, "Yes." Well, not Deku, but Delta comes outside of his head. It says, "Yes." Actually, scratch that. Theta comes out. "I'm doing just fine." It's like, "Oh, is this how you talk now?" She's like, no. Depends on what mood I am. I'm happy right now, so." It's like, "What happens if you're angry?" My thing gets all dark and angry looking. It's like, well, that's neat. Well, we were just about to sit down and eat. He's like, "What about your other family?" She's like, "Oh, they can eat without me for one night." As they're like, "Alright." As then they start eating and talking. As Mitsuki's like, "So you got a job?" She's like, "Yep." What are you gonna do after you apply for your college, technically? Deku explaining, or Data explained that he's gonna get used to saying he instead of they. He was actually gonna go apply for UA. Like I said, Inko knows about Deku, so she isn't surprised he isn't bringing out the entire group. As it's like, "Oh, so you're gonna like try to go for what? Hero course." It's like, "Oh, that's neat. Oh, I was curious, do you have a costume picked out? Because Katsuki already has his design picked out." As Deku, pretty much, as it looks like Deku, stands up from the table and walks into the room. And he's printed out the design and actually shows it to her. It's like, "Oh, this is actually very good." As she's looking at it, it makes up for all, like, his defensive capabilities. As they explain the whole system behind it, it has fireproof, it's fire resistant and cold resistant, as well as its armor segments can come off. Like, you take off the armor segments, so that way there's more mobility. And that the armor is like a very, it's made out of, what's it called? I'm forgetting the metal. It's made out of a lightweight metal-like metallic-like material, so that way it offers the maximum amount of protection as well as being very light. And she's like, "That's cool." And does the helmet do anything? It will, as they explain, that it helps them with filtering out gases and such. So if someone has a gas mask ability or a gas ability, sort of like Midnight's, as he explains, it should filter out her what's it called again? I forget what exactly Midnight releases from her skin, but he explains it as it can filter that out. And she's like, "Oh, is there anything else?" As he walks over and brings out the brute shot, like a design for it. It's like, brute shot is like drawn on the very top. She's like, "Brute shot?" As then Theta goes on to explain, actually really happy. It's a grenade launcher. It launches as Theta would say non-lethal round grenades that will then blow up and use a very... It hurts, as he explains that, but it will sort of freeze over villains and forces them to like stay sort of locked in the ice thing. As then Inko's like, oh, I didn't know you actually looked at all that. It's like, you went through my computer when I wasn't home and looked at the job applications. It's like, well, yeah, that's because I was worried. I didn't look at that. You didn't look at the file profile, or I mean the file holder hero gear at all? No. Like, well, here it is then. As Theta's very happy and chipper, you could say. With that being said, the UA entrance exam approaches swiftly, as then Deku pretty much at the factory says that he's gonna have to stop here and that he's going to go join, and that he's taking the UA entrance exam later today, and so he decided to get an early shift in. Well, the manager's like, well, good luck, Deku. I can tell from the time you've been here, this like year that you've been here, you're a good kid. And from what I can tell, you're also a very strong one. So as he like slaps him on the back, do your best, kid, as he like finishes his shift. And maybe you'll give us a shout out if you ever need a sponsorship. He's like, Deku waves his hand by. Just imagine, here is Izuku Midoriya being... Sorry. Introduced Izuku Midoriya with a new strain of car, Meta. These super fast and sturdy cars will protect you at all times, with speed boost and ultra armor to ensure that you are always safely protected. Buy one now at your local Meta dealership. Warning, some stuff may actually blow up. No, I'm joking though. But with all that said and done, Deku makes his way for the UA. Well, I guess keep on saying Deku on instinct, but the FIs had their way, controlling Deku's meat puppet. So he eventually reaches there and passes through the people as Araka is about to fall down, as he grabs the back of her shirt and like keeps her from falling. She's like, oh, thank you. As Deku, or what she perceives as the guy, walks by her quickly. As it's like, it's a good thing we caught her. Yeah, Ota says, if she fell, she would have probably broken her nose if she did not catch herself. It's like, well, that's depressing. As then they make their way, eventually arriving there. As they're looking at the test, the FI just completely ignore Bakugo when Bakugo is sitting close to them. Bakugo is looking at Deku's stuff, as when they're looking at the zone that they'll be in and such. As they're looking it over, it's just like, oh, so I guess we're in different things. As then Ida does the whole interrupting thing. Sorry. Doing the whole, I can't believe UA would forget something about this. As then, well, since Deku, or the FIs are completely silent with Deku's body, Ida doesn't try to point them out. Instead, on the inside of Deku's head, they're all like running diagnostics and such, like looking at the robots, calculating how much of a threat they'll be, what they might have, and everything. As when he actually gets the information about some of them, he's like, alright. Ooh, sorry. As immediately, Dota starts devising a plan to best deal with the robots. As in, it's like, Sigma, you shall take control. You shall use your speed boost to get us to the front, or as far away as possible from other entrance exam people. I forget what the word is. Examnees, whatever. And says that we'll try to find a good, like, clusters of them, and then that's when the meta, well, not the meta, but Omega will take over and deal with these threats. Theta will also try to focus on keeping us safe from any incoming attacks when the time happens. At the same time, I'll be keeping situational awareness around us 24/7. I'll be on the outside of the head, looking around, keeping an eye on our backs. Are you ready? As Delta immediately comes outside of Deku's head, as he's looking around, and it's like, some people notice a little green man following this giant of a person with Deku on the front, and Delta like looking around, constantly analyzing and such. As then when they're about, as it's like a minute or so before it starts, Araka actually comes up behind them. Hey, you stopped me from falling earlier? And as she looks at Deku's like, hang on, you're the guy that got... As then it's like, 3, 2, 1, go! There are no countdowns in a battle, is what I remember hearing at least. As then Deku, as like, Delta's like, I'm sorry, but bye. As then they all blitz off with Sigma leading the charge, actually seeming to go be at neck speed with Ida. I think Sigma is, I think the armor ability is actually faster than Ida, but I think it's more along the lines of Ida takes lunges and such to get that boost, like sort of boost, sort of like a little thing of boosting him forward every time he runs, while Sigma's just fast, so he's able to keep up with Ida, thankfully, as he doesn't go 1, 2 like lunges. As Deku pairs, I guess the FI pair off and start breaking down robots with, as soon as they get into a nice cluster, Omega's like, my turn, as he cracks his knuckles saying, you have no idea what kind of trouble you are in. Rushing forward and smashing the robots to pieces, actually even grabbing some of the pieces from other robots and launching them right into the robots' faces, or even down the straight middle of some of them. He's racking up points fast as he smashes his way through them, as it's like 1, 2, 3, as then one launches a bunch of rockets at them. It's like, hang on, get his eyes on that kid. As then Deku raises up an entire, not Deku, but Theta raises up the shield around them to defend themselves, as it's like, you okay, Theta? It's like, this is no big deal, I can deal with this, now, let's continue. As then they immediately switch in a very quick succession, that Sigma takes control, quickly speeds out there, jumps over, then switches very quickly with Omega, then smashes right down. It takes a few seconds for them to switch. Like, I'll say like 5 seconds. In human time. And I'll say that's a decent amount. As then they say, as Delta's like, we have currently reached around 20 points. There's still plenty of time before the exam is over though. So, let us continue to fight at our best. Agreed? And it's like, agreed. As they go through it, 5 minutes later, as I'm not entirely sure how long the exams last. Like I said, so I'll say, I won't give them a time limit, it's just like, we got a little bit more time before it goes, and we have earned 50 points, as they've just left a road of destruction of robots. As then a person's about to get jumped on by multiple of them, as they're like, dang it, I should have not bitten off. As it's a red hair girl saying, dang it, damn it, as she's trying to jump around, and it's like, why won't you just stay down? As then a robot's about to smash her in the back, but a shield just goes bing right behind her, as she's like, what? As then Deku comes smashing several of the robots, as it's like, hurrah! As Omega grabs the one-pointers by their tire and launches them at 3 others, blowing them up. That's like 64 points. As then as what will be known as Carolina, I can't remember her real name, so it'll just be Carolina. As then she's like, who are you? It's like, as Delta says, I am Izuku Midoriya. The name's Carolina. She's like, is that all? Yes. It's like, very well. As then Deku pretty much pushes Carolina out of the way and kicks a robot, sending it flying. As Delta says, watch your back. As then he goes speeding off. And Carolina's ability, I'll say, is, well, actually, you guys decide. What should Carolina's quirk be? You all decide. So, with that being said, Deku, well, the FI are rushing around destroying robots left and right. Carolina's racking quite a few points up as well, so... Sorry. With that, she... Well, not she, but they have around 90 points by, like, the end of the thing. No, wait, not 90. 79 seems like a decent amount of points. I believe Bakugo had 73. As then, when it's about over, they hear the whole 0-pointer. As then it says, oh god, as when Ochaka was about to be crushed, Theta immediately threw up that shield around her. As the robot, I believe it was its foot, immediately smashes down on it, like, but I don't think the robot's foot is as strong as All Might, so it just like leaves, sort of gets forced into the ground, like the area around the bubble is forced into the ground, so Ochaka's doing fine. Immediately after that, Omega puts all the strength in their legs, and using like that whole thing where I said, if they push themselves to their absolute limit beyond a certain amount of time, the AI will go offline for like a set period of time. So in that sense, Omega just says, activating limits. As then immediately forces all the strength in their legs to blast off like a rocket, coming in and smashing right through the 0-pointer's face. Well, they smash it just entirely, shattering, not to the extent of Deku's, but I'll say it does enough damage to, like, turn it offline. As then Delta immediately falls down to the ground with a smash. Like, a very hard smash into the ground, making it look like a meteor just fell. As then they all walk over to Orochi, like, are you okay? It's like, I'm fine. As Deku helps her up then, taking her over to Recovery Girl. She's like, thanks. It is no problem. It's what a hero should do. As Theta at this... Well, Delta is still out. Saying that this girl is hurt. She would require some medical attention. She's like, still gonna use that? Oh, wait. As she's like, I saw you on the news once. That's why. Anyways, thank you for bringing her here, and hope you'll be back. Remember, tell me Carolina's quirk. As then Deku, well, the body, exits the whole entrance exam and walks out. As several of the teachers are talking in the conference room, let's bring up all all those things when we were seeing him fight, as it's just like, he seems to have multiple abilities. Yeah, seems so. Like, is there anyone who typically has multiple abilities like this? It's like, no, not to this extent, and with how powerful they are, I'd say he's a shoo-in for Class 1A. And he did help out 2 students when they were in a bind, so that's something we should also look out for. Yes, but it seems like he separated himself. Those were only coincidental. Maybe he thought that if he separated himself, he'd give the other students a chance? Well, maybe it could have been both, that he saw that the best way for him to get the most points, as well as leave points for others, is to just completely separate himself. And after he ran out of robots in a set area, he started moving on to the other area. And it's like, you have a point. So, we say he's in. well, he did score the highest in the English exam, so I'll say he's like I said, a shoo-in. As Nezu's like, yes, I agree. But several of them ask, so why did he have that little green guy, like, behind his head? It's like, we'll ask him when he gets here. As then they close the book on Deku's history. Sorry. As Deku leaves and returns home, he eventually they have to wait the 2 weeks, and he gets the whole thing. As they're like, hello, Izuku Midoriya, I am All Might. As Omega, as the 5A, actually, they want to talk with have Inko there. As the 5 AI are right there, and Inko's there as well. The AI are like waiting in anticipation, as when it's like, you got the highest score in the entrance exam, and you scored the highest in the written test as well. Congratulations, you are hereby welcomed into UA's Hero Class 1A. As in they're like, all the AI are like, yeah. Sigma's like, Delta's like, it is to be expected. We did score the highest, and we took every precautionary measure. Sigma's like, finally. Theta's like jumping around for joy, like, we did it, Omega, we did it! As he like grabs onto Omega and like hugs him. Omega's like, it was only right. We're the strongest students there. And then Gamma's like, yes, we are. Would anyone like to hear a knock-knock joke? It's like, no, Omega. Knock, knock. Who's there? Says Theta. We. We who? We are going to UA. It's like, huh. It's like, she's like, well, I'm proud of you guys. As she gives a hug to Izuku. As she then, like I said, she's like, she's proud of you guys. They're like, thank you. We shall not disappoint you. Whatever we should call you. Just call me Mom. As it's like, very well, Mom. As in it's been difficult for her to adjust to the whole several parts of his brain being independent. So, with that being said, this is where I'm going to be ending it off on. Next part will be actually in UA. Anyways, I hope y'all have enjoyed this. Hope y'all continue to enjoy this. And remember, tell me what you want Carolina's quirk to be. Hope y'all have a nice day, nice night, nice life.